Miami is the world's playground.
The beaches.
The nightlife.
The culture.
However, beyond the glitz and glamour,
there are real people who built this city.
Who call Miami home.
And their stories deserve to be remembered.
There are two Miamis.
Celebrate it all. With the founding of Miami, the railroad was the reason for many Black American workers coming down. Hello, my name is Anita Francois and I'm the Assistant Curator at History Miami Museum. The first group of Black people who came down to Miami were a group of 12 men that was handpicked by a gentleman named John E. Sewell, who was one of Flagler's supervisors. Now, initially they came down to build the Royal Palm Hotel, but eventually Sewell was tasked with the job of clearing the streets for the railroad as well. With this additional task came more workers looking for work, and eventually Sewell was informed that there were perhaps enough people to incorporate a city. So what Sewell did was go from house to house and door to door and count how many people were residing in Miami at the time, which numbered about 3,000, and this included both Black residents and white residents. In order to be able to pass the minimum required by state law to incorporate a city, they had to permit Black men to vote as well, and women were still not allowed to vote during this period. In fact, the first name on the charter document was the name of Silas Austin, who was a Black man. After the incorporation of the city, the Black vote was rescinded until 1899, when they needed the vote again. By the 1900s, out of all the residents living in Miami, about 32% were Black Americans and Black Bahamians. Colored Town, or the Central Negro District, or Overtown as we know it today, is the main part of Miami where Black workers lived. This is where Black workers and migrants were limited to, outside of course other areas such as Coconut Grove and Richmond Heights. Although many Black workers were restricted to this area, that didn't stop them from creating a viable Black business and professional community. By 1900, there are about 45 different businesses, and only 15 years later saw an additional 120. Overtown was the center of entertainment, of jazz. They had a thriving business community, and they even saw celebrities such as Cab Calloway, Billie Holiday, Aretha Franklin, etc., who would perform in Miami Beach, but because of segregation at the time weren't permitted to stay there, so would come back to Overtown after their performance and oftentimes continue the night performing and stay in one of the hotels there. The building of the I-95 is what destroyed what was Overtown in the 60s, in 1965. Almost half the population of Overtown were displaced into areas outside of Overtown, such as Lemon City and Goulds, etc., and even parts of South Miami. And this is what closed down a lot of businesses and effectively destroyed what was this viable and vibrant, bustling community. History Miami Museum, a Smithsonian affiliate located in downtown Miami, safeguards and shares Miami stories to foster learning, inspire a sense of place, and cultivate an engaged community. To explore, log on to historymiami.org.